My name is Anna Morgan Smith, and this is my game analysis of Greg Hastings' Paintball 2. Paintball 2 is approved for players 10 and older and provides realistic paintball scenarios based on real locations around the world. This presentation will discuss the following aspects as they relate to this video game: an analysis of learning theory characteristics used within the game, an analysis of the motivational characteristics used within the game, an analysis of the game content, and an analysis of the domains of learning and associated instructional and gamification techniques in the game. One learning theory characteristic in the game is that of operant conditioning, which is based on B.F. Skinner's study of Pavlov's conditioning dogs to salivate whenever they heard a tone generated by a tuning fork. Skinner felt that he could reinforce a behavior to achieve a desired outcome. There are 4 operant conditioning reward schedules, and this game has 3 of the 4. In a variable ratio, reinforcement for a behavior is provided in unpredictable intervals. In this game, this is achieved every time a player hears a gunshot. The automatic behavior reaction is to crouch down and take cover. In a fixed ratio, reinforcement is provided after a pre-selected number of times the behavior is exhibited. In this game, after winning each match, players are rewarded with money that can be used to purchase better gear, guns, ammunition, or more team members. In a fixed interval, reinforcement for a behavior is provided after a fixed amount of time has elapsed. In the game, the bells signify to the player that he or she should begin playing the game. Another learning theory is the self-determination theory, which suggests that human motivation to perform a task is internally driven as opposed to externally driven, such as operant conditioning. There are 3 elements of self-determination theory: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Autonomy is present in the game by the player being in control and feeling he or she can determine the outcome of his or her actions. This idea of being in control is found by the player being the leader of the team and setting the tone for the team. The player also is given a challenge and feels he or she must master the matches to move on, which is the competence element. Relatedness is found as the player feels connected to the other members of the team because he or she is the leader and gives the team direction. Scaffolding is found in the game as the tournaments increase in difficulty as the game progresses. This helps maintain interest in the game as well as offers challenges to the player. The player must use skills from each tournament and apply these skills as he or she progresses to achieve his or her goal. A person's episodic memory contains information about life experiences or information associated with a particular time or place. In games, episodic memory provides the player the ability to recall the elements of the game and what was done to solve the problem. In this game, the player must win 2 out of 3 games to win a match. Each of these 3 games is the same, so the player uses information from his or her episodic memory and knows what to do to win again, or knows what he or she did wrong so he or she can correct this mistake to win the next game. In cognitive apprenticeship, the player is given an authentic environment to apply skills and tools to learn. The learning is taking place in an environment in which it can be applied. The environment teaches you how to be successful, and the player is given tips, feedback, and coaching. In this game, the player is given tips after each game and constant feedback on his or her progress. There is also a tutorial at the beginning of the game to help coach the player through the rules and regulations of the game. The ARCS model was developed by John Keller in 1984. It has 4 categories: attention, relevance, confidence, and satisfaction. Driscoll notes that Keller views motivation as a sequential process. The first element is to gain attention. Keller believes that attention is a synthesis of several related concepts, including arousal theory, curiosity, boredom, and sensation seeking. In this game, the player is given a problem and is interested in solving the problem of eliminating the other team member so he or she can capture the other team's flag. The second element is relevance. Keller believes that relevance refers to people's feelings or perceptions of attraction toward desired outcomes, ideas, or other people based upon their own goals, motives, and values. The player must feel that the goals or content of the game have a personal connection to him or her. Confidence Confidence can be increased by offering success opportunities throughout the process. Confidence can be given to the player by allowing him or her to seek what he or she has the capability to reach a certain level of performance or achievement. This game offers players achievable goals, and there are clearly defined expectations for how to win. The game also offers a tutorial at the beginning of the game to show players how to play and how to win. The game constantly offers the player feedback so he or she can see the small successes he or she has made as he or she plays towards the ultimate goal. Satisfaction is the final step in the ARCS model. Satisfaction can be intrinsic or extrinsic. Intrinsic satisfaction is when someone feels fulfilled on the inside. Extrinsic satisfaction is when someone is performing for a certain definable outcome. The game offers intrinsic satisfaction as the player is satisfied as he or she wins or progresses throughout the game. He or she is extrinsically satisfied as he or she earns money by winning and can use this money to get better guns, gear, and team members. Lepper's instructional design principles for intrinsic motivation include control, challenge, curiosity, and contextualization. With control, the player has some say over the activity. In this game, the player is in control because he is the leader of the team and tells the others what to do. As far as challenge, while the matches in the game are the same, each tournament increases with difficulty. There is also uncertainty in the level of skill of your opponents as the game progresses. Driscoll notes that students gain confidence in their own abilities when they actually experience success at challenging tasks. Feedback is found in numerous ways in this game. There's a progression bar at the top that tells you how many players are left on your team and the opposing team. As members die, the mask erase. There's an ammunition indicator on the screen that lets the player know how much ammunition he has used and how much is left. There is a shot indicator that lets you know that you have been hit. There's also a tournament bracket that lets you know where your team stands in the tournament. Curiosity is established as the player does not know which direction the opponents will come from or what level of skill they will have. Contextualization is found as the game uses an authentic environment to play so that skills used on the game could be used in a real-life paintball match. Flow is a mental state of operation where a person is fully immersed and focused on what he or she is doing. There are 8 key aspects of flow. An achievable task, the player must feel that he or she can accomplish the task. Concentration, the player must apply mental and physical energies with focus. Clear goals, the player knows exactly what he or she has to do to meet the goals. Feedback is immediate and the player knows if his or her action is right or wrong. Effortless involvement, this is found because the level of challenge is the same as the amount of skill and effort the player must exert. Control over action is found because the player feels that he or she is in complete control of his or her actions. The concern for self disappears and the only thing the player is concerned about is the game itself. And there is a loss of sense of time because the player is so absorbed in the game he or she loses track of time. This game also teaches certain skills such as an increase in hand and eye coordination because of the constant running and shooting. There is a need for quick reaction times and a necessity of learning button combinations for movement and action. Solving problems. As the leader of the team, you must determine what strategy is best and direct others in the strategy. If it fails, you must determine the next best strategy. Higher order thinking skills. According to CAP, determining what route to take, how to balance variables, and which actions bring the most return for the effort are all problem-solving variables that can be easily presented with the use of a game. This game allows the learner to practice different problem-solving techniques, including quick decision-making, risk-taking, and being a leader. Finally, it teaches you to think like your opponent. You must know your opponent and ways to defeat them, and you must know your own weaknesses so your opponent can't defeat you. Declarative knowledge is any piece of information that can be learned through memorization. It is an association between two or more objects. 2 techniques this game uses to improve a player's declarative knowledge are elaboration and replayability. Elaboration is the process of linking the new information with prior relevant or even irrelevant information, showing the learner the context of the new fact and its relationship to a known knowledge structure. In this game, since matches are the same, the player is able to remember what tactics worked and didn't work in follow-up matches. This allows for elaboration. As far as replayability, the matches are the same, so the player has the ability to memorize the arena and the tactics that worked or did not work in that particular match. The player has the ability to play the game and compete in matches over and over to improve skills and knowledge. This game also allows the player to work on soft skills such as leadership roles. Since the player is the team leader and must guide the team to success, the player is allowed to practice leadership roles and responsibilities. Overall, this game is highly entertaining and keeps the player's attention by offering unpredictable opponents in different arenas as the game progresses. The game uses characteristics from 5 learning theories as well as elements from 3 motivational designs. The game offers players a chance to improve skills such as problem solving and critical thinking. The game uses techniques such as elaboration and replayability to improve a player's declarative knowledge. Finally, the game affords the player an opportunity to improve soft skills such as leadership by putting the player in control of the game.